Sunday Roundtable with Greg and Chris is a news presentation of KULR-TV.
Good Sunday morning, everybody. Welcome to the Sunday Roundtable. I'm Greg Lamont along with...
No, not Chris.
What?
Yes.
Emily Nance?
Well, you saw in the sign at the very beginning the sign of where we are, so we figured you could use a little extra help this week.
Well, and thanks for filling in because Chris had some car troubles today.
So he says.
So he says, but you know he's home watching, getting ready for the Super Bowl. That's what it's all about.
Absolutely, but that's okay because I'm getting a chance to tour the Women's History Museum that I haven't had a chance to do yet, and I'm very excited.
Folks, this is the Museum of Women's History. It's right down here on 3rd Avenue. I saw it a few weeks ago. I'd never seen it before. You're familiar with it, but I haven't seen it before, and so I thought, hey, it'd be kind of cool to check this place out. So what do you say?
Let's go check it out.
Let's do it. Hello, it's Brenda Eichley.
Well, hello.
She is the interim director of the Museum of Women's History.
Correct.
It's right down here on 3rd Avenue, across the street from the Alberta Bear. Now, the reason I found this place is because not long ago, Chris Byers and I did the Alberta Bear Theater, and I parked across the street, and I looked over and I saw, what in the heck is this? The Women's Museum of History. I'd never even heard of it. Have you?
I have heard of the Women's Museum of History.
But I bet you've never been here.
No, I have not.
This is probably the best kept secret in town, right?
Oh, it is right now. Yes, it is. We don't do too much advertising.
Well, tell us a little history of the women's.
It was started in 1995 by Dorothy McLaughlin, and she started up at MSUB, which at the time, well, it was then too. And she had just one little room, started collecting too many things all of a sudden, and within 1 year she got the place downtown here. And it has been here about 16 years.
Where primarily has this collection been developed from?
Donors.
Yeah.
From many different places, even some of the historical museums, like the one out in Helena, helped start her out with some factual artifacts and archives. And many, many women started hearing about it, and of course they wanted to give their grandmothers furs, and it did accumulate quickly.
It's a very generous community.
Yes, it still is.
And how did people find out about donating to it?
Well, she did start advertising. She was, and she also, before she had the museum, she had a show on Channel 7, the community TV, and it was called Wisdom of the Ages. So that became a very good starting place for her to start letting people know about her concept of women. She said women needed to be preserved in history. A lot of museums had a little corner in their museums that told a little something about women washing in their wash tubs or something, but she really thought they should be recognized for their awards and rewards and their contribution.
Now, when she died, what was the fate of the museum?
A lot of people are asking that question, but we are run by a board of directors. And we have been involved with Dorothy and learned her concepts and her reasons for having the museum, and of course we're part of the reason for we're here because we care about preserving women's history, so we're just trying to carry on what she believed in.
Now, before we started the show, you told me that people can come in here for free.
Absolutely. We're one of the few free places left, especially when it comes to museums, or I think we are the only free one in town.
Now, you're downtown location, centrally located. How in the world do you not accept money for tours? Where's the money come from?
Oh, we accept the money. Come on in, donate all you want. We do take donations. We have a donation jar, and we are a membership organization. So we take members. We take donations for memorials. We have not been financially sound. We've never had any grants or any government help ever. It's always been donations from people who care and see that we are trying to do something to preserve and to disseminate the information that we learn and research.
Now, given the fact that Emily's being my silent partner here,
I am. You've got a lot of great questions. I have several.
roll them out, baby.
Okay, so my first question would be the stuff that you see in the Women's History Museum, is it all just of our area, Yellowstone County, Montana, or are we
No,
talking
it's
worldwide?
worldwide. Worldwide. We accept donations and we research information about famous women around the world.
And that's what
Not
makes it
just-
unique, is that it's
Yes.
it's just about women,
It's
right?
about women, yes it is. Yes, and anything, and it's not just famous women. We try to, that helps a lot,
Yes.
but we have ordinary people who think they have done nothing, and we interview them and we enlighten everybody that everybody's important. For instance, we have this World War II project that we've done. And now that was the only grant we've ever received, but it was specific. And that was from the Delta Kappa Gamma organizations, a teachers sorority. And they gave us enough money to interview local ladies who were in World War II. And we interviewed 15 ladies, everything from the Rosie the Riveters, and there were several, to nurses, and we even had a pilot. We had a Japanese survivor in our collection, and one lady was held at the internment camp up at Heart Mountain. Wow. So these ladies have been interviewed. We have them on DVD and have their history on paper also, and we have delivered to every school in Montana a DVD. And we've gone out to the schools and given presentations about local women in World War II.
Well, this is the front room of the museum. Show us what we're seeing in here.
Well,
Let's start over here. We see a lot of dolls.
This is an actual little shop that we have. It's a surplus. We call it the surplus shop, and we just opened it up 2 years ago because we got into our archive and artifact room in the basement, which is about twice as big as up here, and for 16 years, things had accumulated, and for instance, we found 14 typewriters. What do we need with 14 typewriters? And they were duplicates.
What's a typewriter?
Yeah.
Oh, Greg, I know you know what a typewriter is.
Yes. So anyway, some of this is the surplus that we found that, we have gone through and de-assessed a few things, and also we've brought in things from home, from our garage sale that we have once a year.
We've seen the front room, gotten a little history. We need to take a break, but folks, we'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody. You're watching the Sunday Roundtable with Greg and
Oh, Emily,
Emily.
filling in for Chris today.
Oops,
Now,
almost.
in our first segment, we were in the front room, and this is the room next to the front room. This would be called the next room.
The not front room.
It's
There
not,
you
it's
go.
the not, yeah, exactly as you say. Now, there are quite a bit of artifacts in here.
Yes, there is. Yes.
Tell us, take us on a tour.
Well, I'm going to show you first of all the dolls that you
That's
love
my favorite
over there.
Too. I know I said that I love the paper dolls, but I really, really, really love these dolls.
Now, this stuff is not for sale.
None of this in here, no. This is a collection donated to us by the Big Sky Dollars, and that is DOLLERS. They collect dolls, this organization. And they donated this in honor of Helen Rusted, who collected all kinds of dolls, but this was a special collection called the American Heirloom Collection. And she got a doll a month in the mail. And that's all famous ladies. They even gave us the book that explains the history of every lady. That's one of my favorite collections, too.
We also have some famous women up on the wall over here with the Museum of Women's History.
Oh, yes. We have some details in different areas about these women also. This down here is a doll collection from Minnebeth Garrison, who traveled the world, and she collected a doll from every country that she was in. And there's 31 dolls. 31 dolls in there, and they are just lovely.
Been to 31 countries, huh?
Well, some were two in a country. Up there's Thailand. She's got a pair there, so that's a lovely collection.
And what about this over here, Brenda?
That's our very first donation to the museum,
No kidding.
and that is from the founder. She was they're Avon dolls,
Oh.
and they're They all are.
What's an Avon doll?
Avon doll. Well, they're little dolls that come with perfume or lotion or whatever in them.
Come on, Greg.
Avon ladies.
How do you not know what Avon is?
Yeah. So they're mostly 1970s and 80s dolls.
Do you have any Chanel No. 5 dolls?
I saw no.
That's what I'm
So, and then over here we have World War II items. I was mentioning to you earlier that we did the World War II interviewing.
Right.
Over here is Henrietta Johnstone. She's a local lady who was the first majorette in the Army, and she could be they decided to have a whack do this head majorette things in their bands, but they said, you have to provide your uniform. So she had to make her uniform and buy her own shoes. Well, Henrietta turned out to be quite a lady. This is a picture of her just before she passed away that was in the Billings Gazette. She was really a supporter of the opera here in town.
Now, you told us before the show started about this particular dress right down here in the corner.
Yes, that is a dress that the Army issued to brides who didn't have a dress if they quickly wanted to. And they did. They quickly married the fellas before they went off to Europe because it's what happened. It did. It happened to my mom and dad. They had to, he was getting shipped out, so she went down to South Carolina to his base and they got married.
This is good also for like shotgun weddings.
Yeah.
Give me a dress and let's get hitched.
Let's hurry up. But anyway, that was a red, white, and blue dress. It's faded now, but it was red, white, and blue, and the lady in the picture there is the one who wore that dress and donated it to the museum.
In the case over here, you've got more dolls going on.
Miscellaneous dolls, yes.
Just from, and these are from different locations, correct?
They're by different people, donated by different people for different reasons, and the one that you were quite interested in earlier over in the corner is...
Greg, are you a little red there?
I'm not ashamed of it. I like that doll. Can I take that doll home?
Yeah, there's a couple ladies probably would let you.
Yeah, so let's explain this doll.
Well,
It's one sexy doll, I'll tell you.
It's just a representation of the early days when we actually did have, there weren't that many professions that a woman could go into if she suddenly became a widow, or, you know, she had to wash clothes, or...
Kind of reminds me of
you know,
Emmerdale.
or go into that fun...
Oh, I don't think so.
Anyway, that was just, it's just it is a true blue historical event.
This typewriter over here, I like seeing that because I saw one like that growing up because my dad was a journalist, and that's the kind of typewriter he used.
Right, that's an underwriter, right?
Underwood.
Underwood, I was close.
Now, these photographs that we're seeing over here, what?
That is a display about Evelyn Cameron. She was a photographer in the early 1900s from Miles City area. Mm-hmm. And this is a loan from the Western Heritage Center. They let us put this on display, and we really appreciate this. It was if you want to zero in on some of those pictures, this is her famous self-portrait. If you go on websites and look in magazines, this is what you're going to see, something like this. This is in like the 1910, 1915 era, and she has two more up there, the self-portraits. But that's the type of black and white. She would travel on horseback all over the backcountry by herself and take unusual photographs of everyday living.
Is it common for you to get displays from other locations?
It is not. This is a treat. Yeah. This is a treat for us, and we thank Kevin greatly for this. He let us have 15, I believe, pictures to put on display.
Well, I see over here you've got Local Girl Makes Good, right?
Another one, yep, she was a nurse. And her sister donated this to us. So she's part of our interviewing in our World War II. Up here is a local artist, Marion Cadwell, and a member of the museum.
Yeah, a little bit of everything for your World War II.
We do. We really we go out and do the presentation in the schools and it's really geared for 7th and 8th graders, the information, and trying to keep them informed about what the women did in World War II, and especially local women. That's kind of fun.
Do you find that the kids are surprised when you tell them
They
some of this
are,
stuff?
and some of the questions they ask are just awesome. We learn from them and go research things that we don't know. So.
Well, Brenda, when you look
Yep.
in the window in here, a lot of times the place is closed. You think this is all there is,
Right.
but there's more, isn't
Yes,
there?
there is.
We're going to check it out when we come right back. Okay, folks, we're going into the library. Come on.
This is our library.
Smells like a library.
Yeah, I love a library smell.
of books.
Anyway, this is all about, for, and by women. Books about women and by women. And we have we're not the fancy library, you know,
Is
with
that
all the
allowed?
dewy
Is that why it's down in the basement and a locked door?
hiding, yes. We have fiction. We just divide it up simple. Fiction, nonfiction, women in history, local women, famous women. So, but it is where we can find things quick if we need to do some research.
Well, if I came down here and spent some significant time, would I find out the secret of women?
Ooh, you might. There's a couple of interesting feminist issues over here that maybe
any hope for Greg.
maybe not.
So do you open this up to people who are doing research
Yes.
on women's issues?
If they want to try to find something, you know, nowadays everything is on the internet. They can find just about any kind. But we do have some fun books if they want to read and feel. We don't check them out anymore. We used to, but they kind of like, you know,
Wandered
vanished. Yeah. So we do kind of protect them a little bit more now. And there we do have some unusual books.
Brenda, when kids come in here, do they know what books are?
Good question. They don't care usually. They just come and have a place to sit.
Yeah.
One of my favorite things, now you asked what my
Yes, I
favorite
wanna
thing
know what
was.
your favorite thing in the
It is
museum.
that painting right there. That was in the 1930s. A man named Howard Oliver painted this. And he was from Chicago. Well, to be interested in women and their plight for a man in that era, it was unusual
That's
for
got
me.
all kinds of meaning.
But what it is, it's full of symbolism. It's even painted on round to symbolize an award that women need to be awarded. What it is the top part of it represents women who have been liberated, and it's like 13 countries that he's put up there, beginning, there's British Columbia and Israel, Turkey, and the chains that are broken at their wrists represents their freedom. Down at the bottom in the dark part is where they, you know, they were in bondage for so long, but it's symbolizing them coming up into the light. In fact, this lady here is representing, she still has her chains out, but she's climbed out of this dark hole. And this was, he made 7 of these. This is the last one. He destroyed all the others. And that is because there was such a controversy, they wouldn't let him have a showing in Chicago because of this part down here was all showing the women in bondage. And they said you can't have that display unless you cover this up. So this is the last this is the last one. Here's a picture of it down here that was in the Chicago Tribune, I believe it was, Chicago Daily News. And that shows all these women down here in the dark and in the bondage, and like I said, there's symbolism everywhere up in there. For instance, this is a lady wearing, those symbols represent engineering and physics and the things the women can actually do. And they're being brought out of bondage. This tiger even is representing the strength of women. And the lady who's on there is his wife. And when he painted the picture, his wife was sitting on an ironing board. He put the, he put the tiger in later.
Well, you said there's another room.
Oh, there is one more room. We better hurry, huh?
All right, so now we're entering what may be the coolest room
I agree.
that I've seen, because there's a lot to look at here.
Yes.
Tyson, you can just roll around, walk around, and show as much as you like, and you can kind of tell us what this room's all about.
You bet. Well, where to start? I can let you know that we have a collection of furs, This was stuffed until we started going through and doing the raffle, and we're keeping the coolest ones. If you all remember Ruth Moss, who lived at the top of the Babcock for years and years, that's her fur coat with a matching purse, fur purse. Anyway, and you said that.
Yes, this is super cool, and I think I know what it is.
You're good.
Hair dryer?
That's what they're, all the little kids, when they come through here, the Girl Scouts and so forth, they think that. It is not.
It's not.
That is a crimper.
A what?
A crimper. And look at that electrical cord. How would you like to be under that thing having a permanent?
Oh, I don't think so.
No, that's not, there's heat that comes out of there, right?
Well, it's got little, little long electrical cords with curlers up the, and they give you a permit.
Boy, the
And
things
that's
women go through.
I tell, yeah. Well, look at all the goodies on that desk right there. That's just something else that's interesting over here is more dolls. And this is, I think there were 13 dolls given to us by a lady, Antoinette Brown, Tony Brown. She researched every one of them too and put this information on it for us. But they are all from, I think it was the oldest one was 1817. And there's bisque dolls, there's china dolls, there's cloth dolls, and sawdust dolls in there. Our oldest doll is down here at the bottom. And she was oil painted cloth doll. That's our cloth doll.
That's the one thing that has never changed in the history of women, is the issue about dolls.
I know, and that is something.
That's a woman's thing.
And it is a woman's thing, but it was taught to us young, because what were we expected to do as women?
Mothers.
Yes. This is the pillowcase doll. It's also called a church doll. But this is what they came across on wagon trains and with their pillowcase dolls. A pillow was inside there, so.
Well, Brenda, I just want to say I really appreciate so much this tour.
Well, thank you.
I hope folks out in TV land got to see something that they thought, what? This is in downtown Billings? I mean...
I feel bad that I've never been in here before.
Well, and there's so much more, you know, there's only so much time to get into more details, and we emphasize certain things depending, like the Girl Scouts, we pull out all our intimate apparel and say, what's this? And they don't know what a slip is, let alone a nylon. So it's fun to do things like that.
Well, clearly you could spend the good portion of a day here if you're really interested in just the history of women.
Yes. Yeah. And I do want to throw in about our fundraiser that's coming up. Can I do that? That's February 26th on a Wednesday at lunchtime. So you can come on in, and it's going to be about women's suffrage. Kevin Kustra, I hope that's how you say his name, from the Western Heritage Center, is going to talk about local women that actually participated in Washington, D.C. Marches and so forth, got put in jail. They didn't even know about it here in Billings until they saw it in the news, in the newspapers. But he's going to give a real awesome talk.
The only thing I'm disappointed with, Brenda, is there's nothing about the Super Bowl in here.
Oh, dear.
And today's Super Bowl Sunday.
Oh, no.
Oh, Greg.
Gosh.
How many?
Women are interested in the Super Bowl.
You bet. We can make Super Bowl cakes and, you know, all the meatballs.
Brenda, thanks for the tour.
Thank you.
So
I think
much.
it's lovely that you thought about us.
We'll be right back. Well, Emily, I'll tell you what, the thing I like about the Sunday Roundtable is I always learn something I didn't know before.
I learned a lot today.
I learned more than I thought I was going to learn. I mean, this is a really cool place.
That was very, very cool.
You know, history of women. I told her before the show started I was going to get the place next door and have the history of men.
It won't be near as exciting as this one.
No, it wouldn't be. Hey, everybody, thanks so much for joining us for this Sunday Roundtable. Thanks for filling in for Chris.
Thank you, Greg. Always a pleasure.
You're a good partner. Hey, everybody, hope to see you back here again next week. In the meantime, have a super week ahead, everybody.
Sunday Roundtable with Greg and Chris is a news presentation of KULR-TV. If you would like more information or to comment on today's program, write to Sunday Roundtable, care of KULR-TV, 2045 Overland Avenue, Billings, Montana, 59102.